February 22nd, 2025. Time around 10:30 a.m. Location UPMC Memorial Hospital, Shiloh, Pennsylvania. It was a quiet winter morning inside the UPMC Memorial Hospital. Nurses moved from room to room. Doctors checked charts. The hum of machines blended with the faint sound of televisions and soft footsteps across linoleum floors. For staff and patients, it was just another day. But then, he walked in. Diogenes Archangel-Ortiz, 37 years old, calmly entered the hospital. No one stopped him. No one suspected him. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't angry. He wore regular clothes and carried a large backpack, heavy but not unusual for a visitor. Inside that bag, a semi-automatic pistol, extra-loaded magazines, zip ties, duct tape. He was a man on a mission, one that no one saw coming. Within minutes, the hospital, a place meant for healing, would become a battleground. Time 10:35 a.m., location, ICU wing, second floor, UPMC Memorial Hospital. Without warning, Diogenes Archangel-Ortiz pulled a pistol from his backpack and entered the intensive care unit. The first to spot him was a young male nurse. Before the nurse could react, Diogenes fired 3 shots to the head. Miraculously, all 3 missed. Click, click, click. His gun jammed. The nurse bolted. Chaos erupted. Patients screamed, staff scattered. Alarms were pressed. The gunman had entered a secured medical zone, and now the ICU was his battlefield. Diogenes was not there to shoot randomly. He came prepared to take control. He stormed into a nearby room where 2 medical staff were tending to a patient. He pulled out zip ties and duct tape from his bag. One nurse, a 27-year-old woman, was tied up. Duct tape covered her mouth. The second nurse managed to escape and called security. Within minutes, Diogenes barricaded himself inside ICU room 3, with hostages under his control. He began yelling out incoherent words. About his wife, about death, about betrayal. His mind was not stable. Outside, security called 911. The situation was no longer just a hospital incident. It was now a hostage crisis. As the building went into lockdown, police began arriving from all over York County. UPMC's security team tried to negotiate, but Diogenes wouldn't respond. He was erratic, walking in and out of the hallway with a pistol in hand. A janitor hiding in a supply closet silently texted updates to a nurse group chat. Shooter still in ICU. Nurse tied. He's pacing, please send help. By 10:42 a.m., the SWAT team was activated. Meanwhile, hundreds of patients and staff were being evacuated, some through windows, some wheeled out on stretchers with IVs still attached. Inside the ICU, time was frozen. A nurse prayed under her breath. A doctor hid in a bathroom stall with the lights off. Every second felt like an hour. Suddenly, Diogenes stepped into the hallway dragging a hostage. It was the same female nurse, hands bound, lips sealed with tape. He held her tightly in front of him, his gun pressed against her neck. Using her as a human shield, he looked directly at a police officer down the hallway and screamed, "You took her from me. Now I'll take her back." No one knew exactly who "her" was. Negotiators begged him to calm down, to release the hostage, to talk. But he wasn't there to talk. Then, with cold precision, he fired 2 shots toward the officers. The building echoed with the sound of gunfire. Time, 10:49 a.m. Location, second floor corridor, UPMC Memorial Hospital. The hospital shook with the sound of gunfire. Diogenes fired again, erratic, uncontrolled, forcing officers to take cover behind medical carts and gurneys. Behind him, the nurse, still bound, sobbed quietly. He dragged her back into room 3. More hostages were now seen through the glass windows, hands raised, paralyzed with fear. SWAT arrived at the rear stairwell. They began moving into position, floor by floor, knowing the suspect was armed, unstable, and holding innocent lives. In less than 15 minutes, the hospital had become a war zone. Time, 10:53 a.m. As SWAT approached from 2 sides, one officer misheard a command. In the chaos, a shotgun blast rang out from a hallway corner. A police officer, Patrolman Andrew Duarte, 28, took the full impact, down in seconds. Blood pooled fast. He wasn't hit by the suspect. He was struck by friendly fire. The team froze, radio silence, then screams. A medic rushed to stabilize him, but it was already too late. One of their own had just died. Not from the gunman, but from the confusion of combat. Time, 11:05 a.m. The suspect emerged again, this time with no hostage, pacing the hall with his gun still drawn. A SWAT sniper had taken position from the adjacent building, glass in view, breathing slow. "Target locked?" the sniper whispered into the radio. But before the shot could be cleared, Diogenes fired again, this time directly at the police. That was the final trigger. Multiple officers returned fire from both sides. Gunfire erupted like thunder, 13 rounds in 8 seconds. Diogenes fell. He was still breathing, barely. Officers moved in fast, clearing rooms, securing hostages, confirming he was neutralized. Time, 11:10 a.m. With the shooter down, paramedics flooded the ICU. They found the tied-up nurse curled under a stretcher, shaking. 6 people had been shot, including 3 police officers, 1 doctor, 1 nurse, 1 custodian. A 7th victim, a hospital worker, had broken her leg jumping down a stairwell during evacuation. Blood stained the floors. Shock covered every face. One officer whispered, "This was supposed to be a hospital." Time, 11:13 a.m. Diogenes Archangel-Ortiz was officially pronounced dead at the scene. His weapon was recovered, his backpack full of supplies, his fingerprints all over every room he entered. Officers carried the fallen, both injured and dead, out of the building. News helicopters circled above. The hospital, once a place of healing, was now cordoned off with yellow tape, marked by bullet holes and broken trust. For the first time in 38 minutes, the gunfire stopped. But for the victims, the trauma had just begun. Time, 12:15 p.m., February 22nd, 2025. Scene, York County Coroner's Office, UPMC Security HQ. The body of Diogenes Archangel-Ortiz was taken into custody. Police began the grim task of piecing together what led to this deadly rampage. Initial findings shocked even seasoned investigators. Diogenes had no prior violent criminal record. He had served in the military, then worked as a paramedic. His wife, a former UPMC nurse, had died under mysterious circumstances in late 2024. Her name? Rachel Ortiz. Friends said Diogenes never recovered from her death. He blamed the hospital. He blamed the doctors. He blamed everyone but himself. But the true story isn't just about the gunmen. It's about those who survived, those who fought to protect others, and those who will never forget the day their hospital became a war zone. If you found this story gripping, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone, and comment your thoughts below. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, because real stories deserve to be told.